Hello, friends. Today we are going to be discussing a very important part of, of the overall study, a very pertinent question as to what is the most effective and most efficient way of preparing for the INI and NEET MDS entrance examination and be one amongst the toppers, secure a very high rank. Now, one of the final year BDS undergraduate students from Saryuk Dental College, Darbhanga, called me today and asked me this question. Now, we're going to solve this question, right, through the medium of, again, as I always do, solving one very important MCQ. And I'll tell you the approach of correlation, how we are supposed to study so that we get the best results, right? So, Supriya, especially you, since you called, if you are watching this video, listen to this very carefully, right? I'm sharing the screen. So, yeah, we go on to the big screen mode, right? So how to study to be a topper in NEET and INI MDS entrance examination, friends. So let us see this question. Type of efferent nerve fibers of the dental pulp are. Now, what are the efferent nerve fibers? The moment we see efferent, right? The first thing that should come in our minds is what? The efferent nervous system. So that can consist of what? Two types, two things. That is somatic. That innervates what? The skeletal muscles. They are not present in the dental pulp. So that gets cancelled. What is the other type of efferent nervous system? That's your autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system divided into what? Two, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, it is very clearly mentioned in Cohen that the parasympathetic nervous system is not important for us in the dental pulp because its existence has not been confirmed. So, again, no need to memorize this. What about the sympathetic nervous system? Yes. Sympathetic nervous system fibers, nerve fibers, do start from where? From the sympathetic chain, right? Which is located where? Which is located just adjacent to the vertebral column, right? So from the sympathetic chain, and more specifically from the superior cervical ganglion, they start. And finally, what are the type of nerve fibers morphologically that enter the dental pulp? That's your C fibers, right? So the answer is what? Post ganglionic C fibers. Post ganglionic sympathetic efferent C fiber. Now let us just match and see which option is the closest to the correct answer. Sympathetic post ganglionic. That's the correct answer, right? Somatic, no innovation. Parasympathetic, not confirmed. Both somatic, the word somatic comes, put across. We don't have skeletal voluntary muscles in the dental pulp. Simple. Now, that solves this question. But what is the approach? Supriya, you asked me, sir, I'm in final year. I've got 2 years, and you are saying study all your good books, your standard textbooks. Is it even possible? Absolutely not. You cannot even do leisure reading of all the standard textbooks of all the 19 subjects that span over the 4 years, curriculum of BDS plus 1 year internship. It's not possible. And even if you do read them at God's speed, at a very fast speed, forget about remembering everything. So what do? You have encountered a question from endodontics, right? Here, this is what you do. You have encountered a question related to autonomic nervous system. The moment you see autonomic nervous system, you rewind back to pharmacology. Open the 2 pages of your pharmacology textbook. You rewind back also to your physiology and anatomy. Now, this is a wonderful diagram which I've taken from Genong's textbook of physiology. Right? You don't have to read the entire Genong. What you have to do is jump to the autonomic nervous system. See here, very interesting. As I said, right adjacent to the vertebral column, what do you have? The sympathetic chain, or the sympathetic collection of nerve cell bodies, the sympathetic ganglion or the sympathetic chain, right? The second important point is all the parasympathetic ganglia, they are all located closer to their end organs, right? This makes what? This leads us to the next MCQ from general anatomy and neuroanatomy. What is that? That the preganglionic nerve fibers, which are these, that is before the ganglion, are shorter than the post-ganglionic nerve fibers of the sympathetic nervous system. Obviously, because the sympathetic chain is located close to the central nervous system, it's located very close to the vertebral column. What about exactly opposite happens with the parasympathetic ganglion? You all know from your head and neck anatomy, what are the ganglia present in the head and neck region? Sphenopalatine, submaxillary, otic, submandibular ganglion, right? These are the four ganglia that we revised in our anatomy. They are present very close to the end organ. So the preganglionic nerve fiber of the parasympathetic nervous system are longer than the postganglionic nerve fiber. That's MCQ number 3. Right? So you started with endo, right? But you've done all the interlinked topics together, right? What is the next important point? The next important point is, again, a very important MCQ, that the parasympathetic nervous system forms from the craniosacral outflow or the craniosacral division. Why? Because the central nervous system component of the parasympathetic nervous system are they are coming from the cranial part, that's your brain, right, and the sacral part of your spinal cord. Whereas the sympathetic nervous system is derived from where? The thoracolumbar outflow or the division. Why? Because the central nervous system component or the parts of the sympathetic nervous system are derived from the thoracic and the lumbar parts of the spinal cord. And brain and spinal cord are parts of what? The CNS. You understand? So this is the approach. We started with one question, right? We referred Cohen. Then from there we jumped. We went back to pharmacology and anatomy. So with one question, we have targeted 4 to 5 interlinked concepts, and we have potentially done 6 to 7 MCQs. You understand? Right? So Supriya, you asked this question. If you're watching this video, this is the approach. This is one very, very predictable approach. I have always studied with this approach. I've always told my students to always study with this approach. And believe you me, you will get very good results. Best wishes to all of you. Thank you.